All right, everyone, buckle up. We're diving deep into Emily in Paris, season 4 today.
Ooh la la.
But hold on, there's a twist.
Okay.
We're dissecting one viewer's take on it. Getting into the nitty-gritty of their loves, hates, all the
I
feels.
like it. It's amazing what a single perspective can reveal, right? Like a
Yeah.
cultural litmus test.
Totally. And this viewer, they did not hold back. But first, can you believe Emily in Paris? It's still going strong.
Well, it's interesting because on the surface, it's your classic rom-com, predictable maybe, but
Exactly what our reviewer loved. They called it a total guilty pleasure, but they were so here for it.
and that's what's fascinating, isn't it? It's like those comfort shows, they scratch an itch.
Like, give me the Eiffel Tower, the cute baker, the fashion disasters. I need my escapism.
Oh, right. And, we were just saying rom-coms were dead, but Emily clearly tapped into something.
Our reviewer was obsessed with the whole potential Rome move next season, especially that scene.
I know exactly which one you mean. Not so subtle, eat, pray, love reference.
So good. And it got me thinking, these little Easter eggs, they work on us, don't they?
Totally. Like, drop a cultural touchstone like that, suddenly it's not just a show, it's a whole mood board.
And eat, pray, love, especially for women, right? Travel, self-discovery, it hit a nerve.
Oh, absolutely. It's aspirational. You watch Emily, you kind of want to eat pasta in Rome, too.
Speaking of Emily, our reviewer had thoughts about Camille this season.
Ah, yes. From Beloved, too. A bit bewildering, maybe.
They were not here for the whole, forced villain vibe.
Yeah, gotta have that love triangle drama, but did Camille really need to go there?
Which, to be fair, is TV 101. But why do we think that rubs viewers the wrong way? Even if it's expected.
Good question. It's like with Camille, it felt almost unearned. Like we knew her and this wasn't it.
And you hit the nail on the head. This wasn't it. Because, oh boy, did our reviewer have things to say about Gabriel this season.
Buckle up.
It was giving bad boyfriend bingo, like every cliche.
But isn't that relatable, though, in a I've been there girl kind of way?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
We want better for Emily, even if we've made questionable choices ourselves.
Exactly. And speaking of questionable choices, Emily's French skills, or lack thereof.
Our reviewer was not letting that one slide.
It's tricky, right? Because the show is fantasy, but at some point, you need a little realism.
And especially 3 seasons in, it went from cute to kind of cringe.
Like, we get it, she's the fish out of water, but come on, at least try with the language.
The reviewer even called out that whole stereotype of, oh, the French, they always speak English.
Which, let's be real, is a very American fantasy. And it undercuts the whole immersed in the culture thing.
Totally. Although that scene where someone finally does call her out in French,
Okay, that was pretty funny.
the reviewer was living for it. But what do you think? Was that the writers acknowledging the critique?
Could be a little wink to the audience, like, we hear you, but also, this is a rom-com.
Fair enough. So Rome, next season hit or miss for Emily in Paris, do you think?
It's got potential. Rome's got that same visual magic, right? But can they recapture the je ne sais quoi?
Our reviewer was ready to pack their bags based on those few scenes alone.
And that's what the show does well, that escapism.
But speaking of what it doesn't always do well, the pacing this season,
A little rushed, you thought?
our reviewer said it felt like some plot lines were wrapped up too neatly, especially compared to earlier seasons.
I see where they're coming from. It's like they sped things up to get to the good parts, but maybe lost something along the way.
Exactly. And character development sometimes needs a little room to breathe.
For sure. It can't all be whirlwind romances and fashion shows, right?
Speaking of which, remember how Emily's work life used to be a whole plot line?
Right. Those early seasons watching her navigate the French marketing world, that was fun.
Our reviewer missed that this time around.
Yeah.
Like, sure, the love triangle's messy, but work Emily was relatable.
Agreed. It grounded the show a bit, gave her character some depth beyond just being the American in Paris.
But let's be honest, we watch for the drama too, right? Finding that balance, though, that's the key.
For sure, it's like escapism is great, but we also want to connect with these characters on a human level.
And on that note, the reviewer brought up the female friendships this season, or maybe the lack thereof.
Ah, interesting. Because Emily and Mindy, their bond, that's always been a highlight.
Right. It's like amidst all the romantic chaos, that friendship felt real.
It's true. This season, maybe those relationships took a bit of a backseat.
Too busy with the love triangles and croissants. But those dynamics, they matter too, don't they?
Absolutely. It's about more than just finding the one. It's about the connections we make along the way.
And speaking of things that evolve,
Mm.
Our reviewer had some thoughts on Emily's style this season.
Oh, I'm almost scared to ask. What did they think? Did she finally ditch the berets?
Let's just say they weren't packing their bags to recreate those looks.
Really? I have to admit, I kind of zone out during the fashion montage scenes.
They thought it was getting a bit repetitive. Like, remember those early episodes, all bold and whimsical?
Right. That was peak Emily, before she went full-on Parisian chic.
Exactly. And the reviewer was like, where did that girl go? Maybe she's in Rome.
Maybe a change of scenery is what her closet needs.
Right. Though they did say Sylvie's style was still chef's kiss.
As always, Sylvie could wear a paper bag and make it fashion. She's the epitome of that effortless French elegance.
Okay, but going back to our reviewer, even with all their nitpicks, they're still hooked for season 5.
Which, I think, says it all, doesn't it? We can critique, but we also kind of can't look away.
Because at the end of the day, it's Emily in Paris. Escapism, pure and simple.
We want those beautiful shots of terrace, the drama, the maybe unrealistic love stories.
It's like a little vacation from our own lives.
Exactly. And sometimes that's exactly what we need.
Well, folks, there you have it. One viewer's deep dive into Emily in Paris, and look at the conversations it sparked.
Proof that even a guilty pleasure can get us thinking.
Now, we want to hear from you. Imagine you can jump into a TV show world. Where are you headed and what's calling to you? Let us know, and until next time, happy streaming.